Welcome to Save Your Sanity, help for handling hijackals, those difficult, toxic, and often disturbing people in your life. I'm Dr. Rhoberta Shaler, the Relationship Help Doctor, and I'm here for you. You'll get the insight, skills, strategies, and support to stop tolerating verbal and emotional abuse, whether it's happening now or it happened to you in the past, maybe by a parent, partner, ex, relative, or even a coworker. Time to take life back, to recover and to rediscover you, your values, dreams, desires, and realize them in healthy ways in healthy relationships. I'm so glad you're here. Hello and welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're new to Save Your Sanity, delighted that you found us, and I hope you'll become someone who listens often and engages with us. Remember, you can always be part of my membership program at optimizedcircles.com so that we can talk. And we have completely off social media a discussion forum and several discussion forums that allow you to get the insights and answers that you want and need. So go over to optimizedcircles.com. So today, I want to talk to you about 5 ways to keep your courage up and actually leave the difficult person, the hijackal. Because so many times people say to me, oh, I know I should leave. I know I want to leave. And sometimes there are many extenuating circumstances, absolutely and for sure. Age of children, financial considerations, working, not working, threats, all kinds of things going on. I'm not going to talk about those today. I'm just going to talk about courage, because those other things, of course, you need to consider. But today I just want to talk about the courage. And these things, these 5 things that'll keep your courage up, I want you to think of them as non-negotiable. So have you ever said this? I want out of this relationship no matter what the cost. Well, if you have, or you've heard that, to me, that's a telltale statement, because it speaks of the frustration and despair and overwhelm and emotional exhaustion that being with a chronically difficult person creates. Or you may have heard someone say, or heard yourself say, I want it over with. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I've had both men and women tell me that all they want is to get out with their clothes and their kids, no matter what else they may lose. And I say, hold on, hold up, out, absolutely. Yes, I understand. But I want you to be leaving with your fair share and doing the right things for your children. So let's do this reasonably, at least on your end. We know the hijackal's not going to be reasonable, but I can help you be reasonable. I know you're at your wit's end. Maybe you just feel like you're holding on by a thread, or your last nerve has been danced on by an entire army, but you just want the emotional terrorism and the crazy making to end. And believe me, I know, I've been there too. So to end the relationship while keeping your sanity, self-control, self-esteem, I'm going to give you these 5 essential steps to follow. Because you need to have these in mind. You need to keep them in the front of your mind, because when that frustration and that end of the rope feeling hits, you need to keep these things in mind. So number 1 is learn and believe the truth about these chronically and relentlessly difficult people that I call hijackals. I mean, the sad truth is that hijackals seldom change. Oh yes, they'll change for a moment or two, or a minute or two, or maybe even a week or two if they really feel they're in fear of losing control of you, but they don't change over time. So you need to really learn and believe all the things that I say in the videos that I've made on YouTube, at my channel for Relationship Help, or all of these podcasts on Save Your Sanity, or anything I've said on my other podcast, which is called Emotional Savvy, the Relationship Help Show. Really inform yourself, read my books, get deeply into it, and let it sink in. Don't make excuses, don't justify, don't rationalize the behaviors of that other person. believe that they are behaving like a hijackal. Losing is simply unthinkable to a hijackal. And I define hijackals as people who hijack relationships for their own purposes, and then they relentlessly scavenge them for power, status, and control. Does that sound familiar to you? And hijackals, they're all about winning. And even the smallest way, in the simplest conversation, they will go for your jugular if they think they're being criticized or made to look wrong. Yes, you know that, right? It's their nature to protect themselves, and they'll lie and manipulate and even seduce you to keep you from them having to be accountable or responsible or honest about themselves. So to a hijackal, divorce means losing face, losing the image they've worked so hard to protect, losing their money, losing respect for themselves and from others, or being afraid they will. And it also means losing their possessions. And unfortunately, in a hijackal's mind, these include their wife, their husband, their partner, their children, their friends, their home, and their lifestyle, and their power over someone else. So they fight. And sadly, it's not because they want you, it's because they don't want to lose anything. So the number one thing that you need to actually keep in mind is that you need to learn and believe the truth about hijackals. And number two is you need to make the decision to go. You don't have to do anything but make the decision to go. And I know that sounds so simple, but it's not. Because you're entangled and enmeshed and embroiled in this relationship, and part of you leans one way while the other goes in the opposite direction. So you're furious and you know that you never want to have another circular conversation, and yet you can't help but think, but maybe there's hope. Maybe if I'm more patient or more loving or more giving or more kind or less demanding. No. Still nothing happens. Nothing changes. You're still there, having those same conversations in your head the next day, and maybe even kicking yourself for it too. Does that sound at all familiar? It is so difficult to make that final decision and move into action. Actually, doing it takes conviction and courage and reliable outside support. Infrequent as the good times were, you desperately want to focus on those good times, don't you? And even though there weren't many of them, somehow they so often outweigh the usual bad times. So don't fall for those tricks of your mind and of your heart. You need to make up your mind and take the next step because you deserve better. Okay, so we've got two things. And now number 3, minimize contact. Okay, you haven't gone anywhere, but you are reducing your dependency on the relationship. Minimize contact. You want to be kind and reasonable and as pleasant as possible. That's noble and it's ideal. And it's also one reason it's taken you a long time to leave the relationship. Once you make the decision to leave for good, you must take quiet, strong, consistent action and follow it with strongly expressed and maintained boundaries, including, number 3 here, minimizing contact. Okay, maybe you're still in the same house, but you still have to minimize contact. Don't be dependent on that person. Don't ask their opinions. Don't do anything much except just be pleasant and go about your business. And if you have children and you need to talk with or to your partner, be factual, not emotional. Don't accuse. Only simple, pared down statements of fact and need that are in the best interest of the children. If even minimal communication seems impossible, once you leave, you may have to use software like Talking Parent or Our Family Wizard. And so you need to have these things to have the courage to stay away from this very, very difficult person. Okay, so once you have made up the decision to leave and you've taken steps to leave, and then you minimize contact. So whether you're still there planning to do it, you minimize contact. If you have moved out, definitely minimize contact. And then go to a model like Talking Parents or Our Family Wizard, where your only interactions with the hijackal are through text and email. Why you need to do that, aside from not having the frustration of conversation with them, is that you have a written record of everything that transpired. Okay, keeping up that courage because you're leaving the ex. Whether you're planning to or you have, these things are all the same. So number 4 is debrief with an expert instead of debating with your ex. And so many times people have come to work with me, and I have clients all over the world because I work through video conferencing, and they'll say, I tried so hard to work things out. I tried to be fair. I tried to be pleasant, and nothing would work. Now, no, I understand that. I understand it completely. Conversations with an ex-hijackal or an about-to-be ex-hijackal have never gotten you very far because reason and logic don't work, because hijackals become irrational. So you have to take charge of yourself and recognizing that leaving is not up for discussion. You're doing it or you have done it, and you're absolutely not returning to the chaos, uncertainty, and those constant bids for control. So if you haven't yet, find a relationship consultant or counselor who specializes in working with the partners and exes of hijackals. That's what I do, and I've heard many sad tales of professionals people went to who really didn't see or believe their particular problem until they found me. So choose well so that doesn't happen to you. Not everybody can see a hijackal because hijackals are really good at exploiting, manipulating, lying, and seducing professionals, whether that's in the court or it's in the attorney's office or the mediator's office or in the therapist's office. They're good at that. So be sure that when you're interviewing someone to work with to help you with the leaving and that will help you with the healing as well, that you have someone who has the experience, preferably had it themselves, but has the experience to understand what's really going on. So you need professionals who are not only in your corner and have your back, but have the on-the-ground real-life experience in understanding relationships with and divorces from a hijackal. And this is one of those things that is difficult for someone to really get unless they've lived it. I've had clients who have come to me who have been to many therapists, and all they've been is told that they should have been better people. The therapist did not see what was going on. Now, of course, there are an equal number of wonderful therapists who do see what's going on, but it's your job to interview the therapist. And when you go to my website at FOR Relationship Help, HELP.com, and you click on store, you'll see that I created a 1-hour program there with Kristen Walker, who's the founder and CEO of Mental Health News Radio Network. She and I did a 1-hour conversation to give you everything you need to know about how to choose the right therapist. So that's there for you. ForRelationshipHelp.com, and then click on store. Okay, so you need a professional in your corner. So you need to interview attorneys and mediators and coaches and therapists until you find one who has experience with hijackals. And preferably choose one who has been through his or her own divorce from a hijackal, because they will know what it feels like to be in your skin. I certainly know, and I know that there were people that I tried to work with who didn't understand. And so I really know this, and I'm saying to you from the bottom of my heart, find someone who's experienced with dealing with divorcing hijackals. And also be aware that hijackals often hire attorneys who have hijackal traits. So don't be surprised when you get into court and you've got two of them to deal with. So you need to be as well prepared as possible. Yeah, it'll likely take you several interviews before you find someone who understands and has the necessary horsepower to represent you well. But it is worth the time. Whether you're looking for a consultant, a coach, a counselor, an attorney, a mediator, whomever it is you need to support, take the time to ask the questions. Make sure that they understand the situation fully and that they are willing to walk into it and tell the truth. Now, here's a little caveat. When you're leaving an impossible partner, you'd like to believe that others will understand what you've been going through. And yeah, they often nod and they seem to empathize, but don't confuse this with understanding. Or that they will have the chutzpah to be clear and assertive and strategic in your case. Right? So you really need to have someone who understands what you're going through. And if that doesn't happen, you need to be willing to change your attorney. My clients are often shocked by how they're treated in court. And there are a unique set of strategies you and your attorney will need to help the court to see the truth about the hijackal. For my clients, sometimes I even talk with their attorneys and help the attorneys know how to be proactive and how to catch things in court that hijackals do. Call them out immediately. Don't let them go by. There are little tricks to the trade there. So ask those you interview the specific experience of dealing with high conflict cases, and make sure they can cite examples that show that they know what they're doing. Don't be afraid to interview professionals in that way. This person is going to represent you, and you need to be able to trust them. Okay, so that's 4 things. Here's the 5th one. This is the 5th way that you need to keep up your courage as you're leaving a difficult person. Know what you want and stick to your guns. Know what you want and stick to your guns. I know you're worn down and torn down and put down, and nothing holds a candle to the emotional exhaustion of loving, living with, or leaving a hijackal. I know. It's such a long journey for most people, and by the time you're ready to say no more, you're having difficulty just putting one foot in front of the other, right? And in that state, you are vulnerable. You want to be fair, but you must not be taken advantage of. That's why it's so imperative to do due diligence in hiring the best professionals. They'll help you see what you're too tired to see and support you when you feel like caving in and lying down and giving up. I mentioned that I often hear a new client say, I just want out no matter what it costs. Yep, I understand that feeling completely, but it's not always a good idea. In fact, it seldom is a good idea. You'll need to find that calm, quiet, assertive center within yourself to do what it takes to get the best divorce agreement, the best parenting plans, and the best child support possible. And you deserve that. So divorcing a hijackal will likely take longer than you want it to. And you must be prepared for that. It's not going to be a slam dunk unless there's been some unfortunate and terrible physical abuse over time. Because the hijackal will lie, the hijackal will manipulate, the hijackal will deceive, the hijackal will deny, the hijackal will turn the tables and make it you who was all at fault. And just when you think you've got a settlement, you think you can breathe, all of a sudden they're taking you back to court for something else. It is a high price to pay. But remember, you are preparing for the rest of your life. So you have to summon up that energy and you have to hang in there. You have to have a good attorney to hang in there too. Because if you cave in, though, the truth is that you'll spend longer time regretting that than the impossibly long time it seemed to take to find the strength to leave. Really, the rest of your life is a long time to regret walking out with nothing and starting again. And you may have to do that if there's too much physical or emotional abuse. You really will, and I understand that completely. So it's not about judgment. It's about saying, if you possibly can, I want to help you get the absolute fair settlement for you and your children, and know what's coming down the road for you so that you're on top of it. And even when you are exhausted, you need to hang in a little longer. So if you don't, as I said, you'll spend a longer time regretting it than you spent trying to get out of it. And you may wish you'd mustered the strength and courage and conviction, because the consequences of not doing so leave you feeling beached and bereft and betrayed, and you probably don't have as much as you really need to get started. So what you need to do is to hang in and get help and keep on walking directly away from the crazy making, because sanity truly awaits. And you're going to have to go through the exhaustion, and you're going to have to go through the incredulity, as I call it. You know, when you're in the store there on For Relationship Help, and you're looking at that How to Choose a Therapist product, also look for my product called Seeing the Cycles. Because if you have the Seeing the Cycles as a home study program, it will help you understand not only the cycles and how to recognize them, but why. What was going on within you that made it so that that was possibly attractive to you, and why they may have been attracted to you. So there's lots of good resources for you, but you need to have these 5 steps to keep up your courage. You really do, because it's tough, and I know it's tough. As I said, I've walked it. I've walked it with so many people now. So those 5 things, right? The first thing that you have to remember, so important, is learn and believe the truth about hijackals, those relentlessly difficult people. Then make the decision to leave. Then start minimizing contact. And then 4, debrief with an expert instead of debating with your ex. You know, it may be the best time and money you've ever spent. Make sure that you put things in perspective and priority. And number 5, know what you want and stick to your guns. So important. I know it's difficult. I know you just want to lie down and let me give up. Not the time to give up. Now is the time to get up on your back legs and say, no. I am going to do the very best that I can to get the most fair settlement I can so that I can have peace. You know, I think of a client that I had who called me and said, we're doing our divorce agreement right now, and we're doing the parenting agreement. He said, but I think I can talk to her. You know, I think we can have conversations. And so I just put in the parenting agreement that we'd work it out at the time. And I went, oh, no. And he said, what's wrong with that? He said, situations change and holidays come and people want different things and we'll just work it out. I said, if you could have worked things out with this person, and it were possible to work it out in an equitable fashion, don't you think you would still be with them? So a parenting plan and custody arrangements, they all have to be so finite, so clear and clean. And there can't be any wiggle room in them or uncertainty. And you're going to need help to make sure that that happens. Because you never have words like someday or we can work it out, or anything that is open to question in any of those things. And I want you to have the very best divorce you can. If you've decided to leave, you want to be as protected as you possibly can be. You want to have fairness. You want to have equity. You want to have proper division of properties and custody. You want someone to see the hijackal for who they are, preferably the court, everybody. May not happen, but that's what you want. We want to do the best we can to get that. So, important. You use these 5 things to keep your courage up when you're actually leaving the person. Keep moving forward. You know, it was just a couple of days ago I read in a Facebook group, someone said, "Oh, it's so hard. I've been away from this person for 3 months and been no contact, and I want to go back so badly. Why do I want to go back so badly?" Because hoping that they're going to change has become a habit with you, and you keep looking for the good and hoping they're going to change. They are not going to change. That person that you first met, the one that you fell in love with, the one you are hoping will return, that was an illusion. That was to get you into the relationship. That person is not real, and they're not coming back. And you've got to keep that in mind as you use these 5 tips that I've given you to keep on courageously moving forward. I'm Dr. Rhoberta Shaler. You can find me at 4relationshiphelp.com. You can join my membership program at optimizecircles.com, safely off social media on my website. But it works just like Facebook, so come on over. I have videos, webinars, Ask Me Anything calls, all kinds of things over there for you. And then my YouTube channel every Monday night. Go over and subscribe. It's called 4relationshiphelp. So youtube.com/FORrelationshipHELP. Every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I have a live stream with a new topic every week. And in the chat, you can make your comments and ask your questions. Really good thing to do. Come and join in. So I hope these things will shore you up and keep your courage high, even when you feel like falling down and just giving up. No, don't do that. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you, and I want you to have a fair and equitable divorce. So until we talk again, be strong, be assertive, know your boundaries, hold them, and know you can do it. I know you can. We'll talk soon. I'm so glad you spent this time with me today. I hope you heard something that touched your heart and empowered you to move forward. You can have the life and relationships that you most want, and that begins with you, within you, today. I'm always here for you. Life can get better, and you heard that from me, the Relationship Help Doctor. I'm Rhoberta Shaler, and I work with clients throughout the world through video conferencing. We can talk. So learn more at 4relationshiphelp.com. FORrelationshipHELP.com, or visit me on YouTube at 4Relationship Help. Join me for next week's shows.